Okay, guys, this will be your video playlist of your test corrections. I'm going to basically have a series based on sections. And so I'm going to go over what needs to happen on your correction form. And then also kind of remind you what needs to happen on Friday if you need to reassess. So right off the bat, some things we need to make sure we understand. You have to fill out this form completely and accurately. You can use additional sheets if necessary, or just continue the form, the template, on your own sheet of paper. And all problems must be corrected in order to retest. So even if on your form, when you go back and check to see which ones you missed, if you didn't get all 5 points or all 10 points, you have to correct it. All right, so the first section was problem solving with system equations. I think we had like 3 questions in regards to that. So what you need to do is on this section in this box here, what I did to solve it, okay? Meaning you need to refer to your work, or basically just copy your work or your original work to the problem. Copy your original work to the problem here. Now, if, let's say you didn't do it, or, I mean, there's different things that are happening out there that it's hard for me to kind of keep talking about, but let's say you just guessed, because that's a possibility on here. I just guessed and said no, okay? If you have no work, you're going to need to state, I did not work it, because that's why some of you are losing points. Or you can state, I just guessed. Okay, you need to be honest. We need to kind of do some self-reflecting and really kind of think about what can we do about our actions, or what parts of our actions are beneficial, helping you, making you become successful, and what things are not, so we can fix those and rectify these situations. Okay, so now what should you have done? Here is where I want to see the rework, and this is what I'm going to do for you on this playlist, on this video. I am going to focus on reworking the problem. Obviously, I can't do this section. I can't do the first box because that's what you originally did. But I'm going to do the rework with you on this video. You need to do it as well on your paper, show what needed to happen. Then you will answer the following. So let me just go into the rework. On this problem, I want you to determine if the point, let me get this pen here. If this point is a solution. So if you have the point for -3, gotta want, first of all, is basically for -3 a solution? Well, in order to determine, you have to plug it in. To me, that's the fast way. Now, some of you solved it, which is great, and I'm going to show that as well. Because this ordered pair, I'm going to go blue here. This ordered pair represents an X and a Y. So that tells me that X equals 4 and Y equals -3. So when I plug it back into the original equation, X minus Y equals 4. I'm going to plug it. I got to check both. You can't just check one and not check the second one. But when I plug this in for the first one, meaning instead of an X here, I'm now going to put a 4. Instead of a Y here, I'm now going to put a -3. And some people did parentheses, that's fine. But when I work this out, 4 minus a -3 really is saying 4 plus 3, and that does not equal 4. What this is saying is 7, and 7 does not equal 4. So because we get a false statement here, since this is false, our answer is not a solution, or no, okay? And I'm going to abbreviate solution, okay? So plugging in the values of your coordinates, your X and your Y, to me was the fastest way. Now, some people and which is great work too, great problem solving, because this is what this section is about, problem solving. So, okay, they saw, well, right here, these are opposite terms. And so what I saw was that some people went into just going straight to adding, canceling out the y's, getting 3x equals 9 here. Then they solved for x by dividing by 3. So there's just some extra work here. And they got x equals 3. But that's a positive right there, guys. But we said it's a negative 3. So again, that would have been a no. So either way, I was looking for correct work, guys. Like, if you don't have this information, like all these beautiful steps and plugging in and things like this shown on your paper, you're not showing understanding. You're not showing mastery or proficient. You're not showing anything. And I can't give you credit. You got to show your thinking, and your thinking for different types of problems has to be reasonable, has to match, has to go together. So, it has to fit the problem that we're doing. And if it doesn't, then yeah, we're going to question some things, or maybe you need to justify it by explaining verbally. But I'm not giving you credit for just picking an answer choice without work justifying it. And it says even right here, if you weren't too sure, it said right here, justify your answer. And the justification is your work. Okay? So you rework in this space here. Then what you need to do, make sure you tell me why you missed it. And if you missed it because you didn't work it, you just guessed, be honest, tell me why. And then you need to tell me also, what can you do next time to get the problem correct? So how are you going to fix this misconception, this mishap? How are we going to do better? All right. Some of you might need to do better because you need to do the review, or you need to practice the problems more. Okay. And let's just take some ownership and move forward from this, because the other thing that we'll see when we talk about this, when you get to do these corrections for a retest, is there's a huge correlation in the amount of students who do not do the review and do not pass. Or do only what's in class and submit only what we do in class. Like, you don't finish the review. You don't do extra practice. That's to help you prepare. And your failing to prepare is preparing to fail for some y'all. So we just got to do better. Okay? All right, so the next type of problem in the first set was Julie was asked to solve the system by elimination. Which of the following steps was the best way? So here, I didn't really need to see work here, because it says by elimination and it's talking about steps. So these are your options, but you had to use elimination. And in order to use elimination, I'm just going to rewrite this problem over here. And I think, I'm not sure if some of the mishaps or misconceptions is we just still don't know the method. We still can't do elimination. But one of the things I do when we first taught it was I say, okay, line up your x terms. There's your x terms. There's your y terms. Okay. And there's your constant. That's what I did it in blue when I did it in class. There's your constant. And then I said the first thing you need to do is look for an opposite term. Okay. And if you don't have an opposite term, you create an opposite term. An opposite term, in our notes when we did this, an example of an opposite term was like 7x and a negative 7x. Okay, so they have to have the same coefficient, but they have to be opposite and have to have the same variable. Now, right off the bat, we have no opposite terms. 2x is not opposite 3x. A y is not opposite of negative 2y or minus 2y. Okay, so you had to create opposite terms here. And to create the opposite terms, you were going to need to multiply the top equation by 2 so that the y's would be opposite. So even if you worked it out, when you distribute, because I want to show it to you, this would have been 2x plus 2y equals negative 6. Oh, not 2x, sorry. 4x here, sorry. Jumped the gun. 4x. And then the bottom equation would have been 3x minus 2y equals 2. And then right there is where we had the opposite terms because we have a plus 2x and we have a minus 2x. So the first step was just to multiply the first equation by 2. And this was our answer. Multiply the first equation by 2. Some of y'all put first equation and second equation, or multiply the second equation. Okay, when we look at the equations, the one that's on top is first, the one underneath the second. Okay, so there wasn't a lot of work to this. And two, if you knew elimination and knew how to reason, then I didn't really check for like I checked that you were using elimination. I didn't check, like you did substitution, and that means you didn't know elimination. You didn't follow the directions. Okay, so then tell me, why did you miss this? So don't forget to tell me why you missed this and what you can do next time. These 2 boxes are your responsibility. You need to do some self-reflecting. You need to explain why you think you're missing these type of problems and how to do better, because that's what you're going to have to do on your retest. You're going to have to do better to retest, and you have to have these corrections done in order to even let me send you a retest to take, okay? All right, so the last problem that was in this set was select the coordinate point that is a solution to the system using your method of choice. So I didn't really care what method you use as long as you used it correctly, okay? So I'm just going to rework this problem over here. To me, the best method of choice was elimination, because I have a plus 6y and I have a y here. I can make these opposite just by multiplying the top by a -6. So you have to multiply by each term. And what I noticed when someone made a mistake, so this was a positive 30x, was either a sign error, minus 6y equals positive 12. So now I can do these 2 equations because now I have opposite y's, and I can add to create that opposite. That y is going to cancel. This is now going to give me 27x. And then here, these are going to cancel. So that means this equals 0. We're still solving for x, which means I think some of you still forget that you are dividing by the coefficient, the number in front. And 0 divided by 27 gives you 0. Any number, 0 divided by any number is 0. Okay, so this was 0 as my x coordinate. Our answers are always in the form of x and y. So I need this first number to be 0, and this was the only one that had it as such. Okay, so as long as I saw the times a -6, if you did substitution, I did have some people say, oh, I can isolate that y by moving this over, and they said y equals 5x minus 2. But if you didn't show that, I'm not taking substitution, because here's what people would do. Okay, they don't even show this. Okay, they don't have this, but then they go straight to work that looks like this. And I'm like, where did this come from? Like, to do substitution, you have to isolate a variable. And if you're not able to show how to isolate a variable, then you don't know how to do substitution. Okay? So you're going to have correct work, correct reasoning. You got to do better. If you missed it, please tell me why you missed it. What can you do next time? You need to know what to do next time, because your next time will be on the retest, so you can show that you can. All right, so that takes care of that section. So if you didn't need this section, and I probably should have said that at the beginning, you can fast forward to the next series of problems. I think the next series is 4 through 8, I think. Yes, 4 through 8. So if you need that section, you can just kind of go on to that one. All right, let me go ahead and pause and get to the next section.